the Sussex brand shouldn't be there anymore. It should be Archwell, or it should be Meghan and Harry. It's kind of, Sussex has become something which is synonymous with Mexit and kind of finding freedom and kind of, you know, really being quite negative about your life prior to moving.
Okay, a publicity disaster dressed like royalty. Yikes. That one hurts. But frankly, it appears to capture the atmosphere throughout most of the entertainment business. You understand? Meghan's repeated efforts to manipulate her perception and influence the media storyline have catastrophically failed. Now, rather than being praised, she's among the most divisive personalities in celebrity reporting. People magazine's connection with her supposedly began fracturing following the Oprah conversation. Yes, that conversation when half the audience supported her and the remaining half labeled her calculating. That divided response damaged the company significantly. Then arrived the larger problem. Her account of situations began contradicting insider information from the palace, and that's when people concluded enough was enough. They refused to participate with partial honesty any further. But the breaking point, oh, it's scandalous. Meghan's representatives supposedly requested a redemption cover, one that would reimagine her perception as a dominant international philanthropist, and People's leadership categorically refused. Supposedly, they informed her representatives that nobody, not even royalty, commands to control stories. And that choice wasn't merely business, it was ethical. Privately, they stated this wasn't simply about material, it was about integrity. They refused to continue promoting what one source described as the Meghan illusion. People magazine succeeds on uplifting, pleasant celebrity content, the type that makes audiences happy. But Meghan's engagements, they arrived with infinite requirements, authorization demands, and excessively arranged photo sessions. One leader captured it flawlessly. It's draining. Now, obviously, Meghan's representatives assert she's being misconstrued. They claim she's merely prudent, guarding her perception after all the harsh coverage she endured from the British tabloids. And honestly, reasonable observation, that experience was savage. But here's the complication. The American press doesn't function by monarchy regulations. Once you forfeit their faith, it's practically impossible to regain it. And that's what makes this so astonishing, because people's determination doesn't merely influence Meghan. It's like initiating a cascade reaction. When a significant publication like People breaks connections, other magazines begin discreetly mimicking the action. Currently, leadership from numerous entertainment publications are supposedly distancing themselves from Meghan unless, and exclusively unless, there's controversy involved. That's how rapidly the climate has reversed. Just picture. In 2018, Meghan Markle was everyone's favorite. She possessed Hollywood allure, monarchy sophistication, and a romance taken directly from a fantasy film. Currently, her identity appears to generate disorder wherever it appears. Even in Hollywood, speculation is circulating. Sources are expressing things like collaborating with her. It's simply too demanding. Can you fathom that? The Duchess of Sussex too exhausting for Hollywood? But People magazine's decision, it's beyond rumor. It's about legitimacy. The publication's entire reputation is founded on genuineness and reliability. And when they withdraw from someone of Meghan's prominence, that's not merely dismissal, that's a proclamation. Obviously, Meghan's side didn't remain passive. Representatives near her attempted to reframe the entire scenario as a beneficial separation from destructive journalism. They claim she's prioritizing her audio show, charitable endeavors, and parenting. But seriously, sources aren't accepting it. They're identifying it what it genuinely represents. Crisis management. Supposedly, Meghan anticipated her significant Hollywood resurgence to be effortless, commanding, and newsworthy. But when circumstances didn't proceed as intended, aggravation began surfacing. Her publicity representatives escalated efforts, grew more forceful, more domineering. And well, that only worsened circumstances. Because here's the brutal reality about Hollywood. attempts to dictate her perception have genuinely demolished it. Every occasion she attempts to orchestrate her account, it simply reinforces the notion that she's fixated on authority and appearance. Recall when her Oprah discussion was the worldwide phenomenon? That was her post-monarchy existence. Explosive, passionate, unfiltered, media treasure. But now, every effort to duplicate that success has dissolved. Her Netflix program. It arrived and departed, barely noticed despite all that anticipation. Her Spotify audio arrangement concluded in uncomfortable quietness and negative publicity. And now, even when she attempts to illuminate her own stage, the spark just won't ignite. Business sources say one term keeps surfacing when Meghan's identity is referenced: confidence. She's forfeited it. Creators, presenters, and reporters view her discussions as excessively prepared, too refined, too regulated. She doesn't conduct dialogue. She conducts management, stated one Hollywood journalist. Everything appears rehearsed. It's like observing someone administering a company, not sharing an experience. And to worsen circumstances, speculation has emerged about Meghan's publicity representatives discreetly compensating for attention. Not conventional advertising, but backstage arrangements to manipulate how she's depicted. Supposedly, she even proposed a substantial financial investment to a premier lifestyle outlet for an extensive article about her guidance and strength. But they declined. Their response? We don't conduct purchase journalism. According to one intimate source, that refusal genuinely wounded Meghan. She believed she could purchase her route back into significance, they stated plainly. But that doesn't function anymore. And they're accurate. Hollywood's absorbed its education. After her prominent breakdown with Spotify and all the complicated attention that accompanied it, decision makers have recognized that connecting their company to Meghan Markle simply isn't the secure investment it previously was. What formerly represented monarchy sophistication has transformed into press pandemonium. And the discussion surrounding her identity, it's not respect anymore, it's weariness. Even digital platforms have reversed. Every occasion she appears publicly, the backlash floods in. Individuals accuse her of being spotlight obsessed, excessively theatrical, or fraudulent. Every fresh venture she introduces gets greeted with widespread doubt. Then here's the genuinely unfortunate aspect. Even her advocates appear more subdued recently. It's like they've exhausted defenses, weary of justifying why every one of her revivals feels like repetition. A publicity specialist in Los Angeles expressed it mercilessly straightforward. When you must compensate individuals to acknowledge you, it's finished. That's the fundamental challenge. Meghan's forfeited her organic magnetism. She's not attracting attention presently. She's attempting to purchase it. But that's not how power operates. You can't compel individuals to respect you. You achieve that with sincerity, openness, and some modesty. And that's what's absent. The difficulty isn't solely her standing. It's the viewpoint. Meghan still and now they're questioning what remains to express. Sources claim she's anxious to position her upcoming major venture, a streaming program supposedly centered on female advancement, as her magnificent resurgence. She desires it to be daring, passionate, profession establishing. But again, one significant obstacle: nobody desires to broadcast it. The limited outlets that are curious demand complete journalistic authority. No restrictions, no, you can't inquire that stipulations. And supposedly, Meghan's not comfortable with that. That's where the contradiction strikes like massive monarchy stones. The individual who previously discussed liberation, autonomy, and being her genuine voice now stands charged of suppressing anyone who doesn't follow from her document. The more she attempts to craft her account, the less authentic she appears. And in the universe of show business, viewpoint is everything. One Hollywood representative summarized it flawlessly. She's approaching recognition like a strategy, not a passion. You can't strategy your method into individuals' emotions. Either they relate with you or they don't. And that's the severe actuality Meghan's confronting now, because while she's occupied occupied managing the communication, Hollywood has already progressed. In this field, fresh celebrities emerge constantly. New personalities, unrestricted narratives, genuine vitality. And that's what viewers desire. Confidence, modesty, preparation. 3 elements opponents claim Meghan's representatives doesn't completely understand. Speculation even indicates Meghan herself has been individually contacting particular program presenters, hoping her reputation alone would generate enthusiasm. But according to one source, those contacts appeared as, well, frantic. She's contacting individuals who already courteously refused, one creation source disclosed. It's uncomfortable. And truthfully, it deteriorates further. Information has circulated in the business about how Meghan's representatives manages discussions. Before any meeting, her publicity supposedly transmits comprehensive instructions of what can and cannot be questioned, what subjects to exclude, how to articulate matters, even how to respond. And let's acknowledge it. Reporters despise that. You can't summon the journalism, then instruct them what to express. One presenter stated, "That's not a discussion. That's a presentation." And that's the essence of everything. It's not that Meghan doesn't possess meaningful matters to communicate. She does. Her experience, her challenges, her battle for self and freedom, it could motivate countless individuals. But individuals don't desire a presentation. They desire the reality. And that's the obstacle she continues encountering currently. Meghan's recognition is positioned at a junction. One direction leads to genuine restoration, where she retreats, abandons the documents, and simply communicates. The other direction leads further into the publicity haze, where every statement feels premeditated, every action feels calculated, and every viewer feels alienated. And from appearances, she's still selecting the latter direction, and it's not functioning. Every entrance she approaches appears to shut somewhat quicker than previously. Every private feature feels less private, and every effort to administer her reputation simply demonstrates the argument her opponents have been presenting throughout. Hollywood can be merciless, but it possesses one fundamental principle. Genuineness prevails. You can't fabricate it, you can't acquire it, and you absolutely can't command it. Meghan still possesses a stage, she still possesses power, and she still possesses the ability to reverse everything. But to accomplish that, she'll need to cease pursuing respect and begin achieving confidence again. Because the single thing more harmful than her quietness currently would be another excessively refined, excessively regulated private feature that nobody accepts. So, where does that position her? Somewhere between monarchy banishment and Hollywood dismissal? A desolate territory where every story feels like an evaluation and every presence feels like a gamble. People magazine distancing wasn't simply a rejection. It was a reflection, a representation of how distant the fairy tale has descended. From royalty to outcast, that's the narrative now. And unless Meghan transforms the document, it's only going to intensify. In conclusion, it's almost symbolic.
For my family, this is not a surprise to anybody. It's really sad that it's got to this point, but I've got to do something for my own mental health, for my wife's, and for Archie's as well, because I could see where this was headed.
They didn't want him to be a prince or princess, not knowing what the